Hello, hello, hello. Dooley Godot here with Elite Weather Forecasting, and today we are going to talk about some of the long-range weather forecasts here coming up for the next 14 days, using our GFS as the model guidance that we're going to use, and we're going to talk about the parade of storms I expect to see over the next couple of weeks as we head on through the month of March here. And you know, March can be quite an exciting month, especially here in the upper Midwest. Here is day one of our GFS model run, which is today, and what we're seeing is we saw a little bit of precipitation across the upper Midwest today. It's about the only real action that we're seeing in America today, with the exception of some stuff down south and the Pacific Northwest. Let's take a look at what we saw as I make a sloppy drawing here. And this is that precipitation we saw this morning move through Minnesota. It did bring a little bit of freezing rain today, but that is long gone and cleared out of the area. But what we're seeing is snow melting. So it warmed into the low 40s today. We're starting to see that snow melt. It'll dip maybe slightly below 32 tonight. So it's, some of that's going to refreeze as we start our freeze thaw cycle. Yay! We really love that when the snow melts during the day and then refreezes at night. But we're going to get quite warm tomorrow. So we may not actually have to deal with that tonight per se, because we're going to be in the mid 50s tomorrow. So let's clear off our screen here. Let's clear this mess off. And we are going to take a look at what's going on down south. We do have a little bit more precipitation here as some moisture gets pulled up into the southerly flow here, as we might see a few showers here in East Texas that we saw today. And then in the Pacific Northwest, there is some stuff trying to come on shore as we have this weather system here brings us some stuff on shore, and we see this weather front come in. So it's some mountain snow for the Cascades as well as southern British Columbia. We can see some snow, but we do have rain down in the valleys and along the coast. So Seattle and Portland could see a little bit of rain showers out there today, but it's not too bad. So let's clear that off there. And we got a little bit of precipitation. Outside of that, it was pretty quiet across the nation today. We're not seeing too much. But for tomorrow, this is what our GFS looks like. We do see some stuff try to come together here in the south. We saw that little bit of moisture try to come up in the last slide there. So we saw that coming up, but we will see it kind of get a little bit more organized tomorrow, as we can see this area here kind of come together and get some showers and thunderstorms going along the south coast to the southeastern coast. In the Florida panhandle, you can see some thunderstorms as we have this frontal boundary here and a little area of low pressure try to develop. Get some showers and thunderstorms here along Pensacola and Apalachicola, Florida, as well into Gulfport, Mississippi. You can see a few thunderstorms tomorrow in South Georgia, as well as possibly the Atlanta area. Might start to see those showers and thunderstorms move in the afternoon and evening hours for your Tuesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah, right. So, but we do see a little bit of lake effect snow across the Great Lakes as well. Over here, if you're in the lake effect area here, upstate New York, western Pennsylvania, and northeastern Ohio, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, you might see a few flakes from the lake effect snow and maybe some lake effect rain actually too. So you could see some rain along the lakes and snow here. So you might see that. And then we have this bundle of joy that's coming in across the Pacific Northwest as that weather system kind of makes its way onshore, and it's going to spread some snow in the high plains of Montana and a little bit of snow across the mountains in the northern Rockies there. You see Glacier National Park can pick up a little bit of snow, and we got some rain showers into central Idaho here, as well as parts of the Cascades, northern sections of Nevada here, Elko, Nevada, Wells, Carson City, Reno. You might pick up a little bit of rain showers, as well as Lake Tahoe in California. You might see a few rain showers tomorrow, but none of this stuff is going to be heavy, with the exception of possibly any thunderstorms or stronger thunderstorms across the southeast. Maybe some isolated severe thunderstorms out there tomorrow as we get a nice little bit of moisture try to come on shore. Let's move on to our next map here. And our next one we see, this is for Wednesday, 3/16. As we can see, that area of moisture across the southeast moves a little bit to the east, affects more of Georgia. South Carolina gets in on that. But you see those heavier thunderstorms are actually out at sea over the Atlantic. But if you say Lake in Cape Hatteras, or you are in North Carolina here, you may see some of those showers and thunderstorms right along the coast here. And as well as down in South Carolina, you might see some of those showers and thunderstorms in this area here could get quite heavy, as well as the Atlantic side of Florida could see some of those showers and thunderstorms, as we have an area of low pressure circulating right about here. So if you're in Jacksonville, you may see some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, as this is kind of a disorganized mess out here, but it's just a little bit of moisture that's gonna, just enough instability in the atmosphere. You're going to see a little bit of warmth as well with this, and a little bit higher dew points as you see those showers and thunderstorms start to take shape. And we get a little bit more of precipitation here across the Great Lakes, as well as into southern Canada. You might see some showers and snow showers as well in these areas here. Not going to affect Minnesota too much with that tomorrow. Maybe a little piece of Wisconsin here. You might see a little bit of that lake effect snow take shape, as well as the upper peninsula of Michigan. You might see a little bit of action for you there. And then we get some scattered activity here in the high plains and in the mountains of Colorado and Utah, as well as western Montana and Idaho. You folks might see a little bit of scattered snow activity, nothing too heavy, maybe some scattered pockets of heavy snow, especially here in the high plains of Colorado, as they saw a lot of significant snow last week, as they had a few significant storms move through that area. So let's take a look at the next day, which is going to be for your Thursday, 3/17. Now it gets interesting. It starts to get interesting now as we get an area of low pressure that moves out of Colorado and moves into the southern plains. Here we are with a 994 millibar low pressure area here hanging out across central Oklahoma as well as southern Kansas. And we see a nice deformation zone that's going to form here. As you see, it's kind of sheared out here as that moisture, as those isobars circulate this low pressure, it gets deformed here. So we may develop a frontal boundary right about here with a warm front right about here that's going to lift to the north, and it's going to start to spread some rain showers. As you can see, as we move through the month of March, these storms going to start to be warmer and warmer core storms. So we're going to see less and less snow over the next coming weeks as we start to lose the winter effects and we start to get more into our spring weather patterns. But spring is still about a week away. So today is the 14th. Spring is going to be on the 21st. So it is about a week away. We're going to be officially in spring, what you all know as spring, but meteorological spring did start on March the 1st. So we see this storm starting to take shape here, right here. So let's progress. And we also have some other, this other moisture here. Remember that the last storm on the last section that we looked at showed this little moisture here that's just off the coast of the East Atlantic seaboard, and you see that it's starting to move a little bit further north, and it's going to make it a beeline across to the northeast here, and it's going to spread some rain showers to the coastal cities to the big cities along the East Coast. So Washington, D.C., Newark, New Jersey, New York City, Hartford, Providence, Boston. You're going to see those rain showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder. Some thunderstorms here on the Atlantic seaboard as we move through the month of March. And this is for the 17th. This is the 21Z. So this is 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, which will be 4 p.m. Eastern Time, that this is going to represent where things should look like, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next day, and this is for your Friday. This is the 18th of March. Now that storm really kind of gets its act together a little bit more, gets more organized. As you can see, and here is that deformation zone of snow. You see how sheared out it is, but it's going to make some pretty significant snowfall across the northern sections of this storm system, and we're going to see that heavy snow into Wisconsin as well as Michigan. Northern Michigan is going to be in the bullseye for the heavy snow band with this one, and it's going to spread that rain showers across Indiana, as well as Ohio predominantly, but we could see some thunderstorms move into southern Canada as well as parts of Michigan. If you look at eastern Michigan here, this area here could see heavy rainfall and convective activity, so we could see that thunderstorms as that theta E advection rides up north and collides with that warm front, and you're going to see it occlude in this section here, and it's going to provide the lift and rotation for some possibly severe thunderstorm. Could be just enough vertical shearing here that we could see some severe weather up into the Great Lakes area for your Friday. So that is the look outside of that. And then we have a frontal boundary that's going to extend from here. Our cold front is going to go about here. They're not going to have that bump right there. It's just my bad drawing. But we're going to see that. And we're going to see that advection coming right in here. And it's going to cause those thunderstorms to develop here along the southeast. So we have this in Florida along the Gulf Coast, the Florida Panhandle, South Georgia. You can see just south of Atlanta into South Carolina, and southern Alabama. You can see some showers and thunderstorms as this area. But you may see some strong winds here across the northern Michigan and Wisconsin as well, as we can see how tight those isobars. And this is a 990. What is that? 993 millibar low. My bad eyesight. Even with glasses on, I still can't see. So let's go down to our next day, and this is for your Saturday, the 19th. This is what we have on the 19th. That storm across the Great Lakes has moved into southern Canada and will continue off into the northeast. It's going to ride off into the sunset, but it has its extended cold frontal boundary here. That's going to remain draped across the southeast for another day. Now, it's not going to move all the way through Florida. These seldomly do. They get about halfway into Florida, and then they wash out over time as the low pressure center gets further away. And then we do get the next storm system to come on shore in the Pacific Northwest. The next frontal boundary is going to bring some rain into the Bay Area as well as Portland and Seattle once again. A warmer system here. We said I'm not seeing any snow yet for the Sierras. Going to be rain and even into maybe some snow for the highest elevations, maybe about 10,000 feet. We do see a little bit of snow here, as we could see. It could be just cold enough to produce some snow across the Sierra Nevadas. But southern Canada, you may see some snow as well for the British area. For you folks in the mountainous areas of British Columbia, Vancouver, northward, you could see that some snow move in for that day, okay? And as you can see, it's going to be pretty dry across the middle of the nation. You saw a few days here of pretty dry weather, with the exception of that storm system that came across the middle of the nation. So as we look for your Sunday, the 20th of March, dry across most of the nation. Not much to speak of here. Maybe a few scattered snow showers across the mountains out west in the Rockies and in western Montana. You might see a few scattered snow showers, but nothing pretty significant going on across a quiet weekend for you for the most part. So here is the 21st. Whoa, look at this guy. Hey, wow, where you come from, buddy? Now this guy pops up and he came out of the rock. Now this guy spun up out of the southwest. As now that we have a trough in the west, and our jet stream is kind of going like this, and our jet stream is going to shoot out like that, and that frontal system, that storm system is going to kind of develop here. As you can see, there it is, a Colorado low for you, a nice mid-latitude storm. And here we have our frontal boundary here. It's going to go down into Texas. Nice drying area here. This is our dry line, our dry slide. So some folks are going to get dry slided. Here is our shearing. Our deformation band is here. So that warm front is going to lift north here. Maybe a little bit of occlusion right there. And we see that deformation band zone is going to bring in that lot of snow. So a lot of cold air is going to wrap in behind the system. And you see that snow take place in parts of Colorado and Wyoming and Montana. You might actually see some snow in the Cut Bank area, Cut Bank, Cheyenne. You might see some snow out of this system as you get cold air that's going to wrap in behind this storm system here. And it's going to make in that cold air is going to wrap right in. Going to create a nice dry line for us in this region here. We'll see a nice dry line. You see that southern lift, that theta E advection, lift the north out of the Gulf of Mexico. Is going to bring that showers and thunderstorms right in to Arkansas, Louisiana, parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, as well as Iowa, maybe parts of southwestern Minnesota could pick up some thunderstorm activity. We're definitely going to see severe weather in this region here. So as we get a nice triple point, is we have our low pressure, we have our occluded front, we have our cold front, and our warm front in our deformation zone here. And all that's going to combine together to create some twisting in the atmosphere and the potential for severe weather. And this is for the 21st, which is next Monday. So if you're in the middle of the country, be on the lookout for that guy there. So that's going to make things interesting for us. Here we are now. We are on the 22nd. This is for Tuesday, as this guy has our nice frontal boundary here. Here is our warm front. Warm front here. It occludes right here. A nice occluded front. Our area of low pressure. Deformation zone is going to be here, right? And here's our dry slide. So we got our dry slide moving in. So parts of Minnesota and Iowa is going to get dry slided here. And we have our area of low pressure here, but it's going to be that severe weather again. So if you're in Illinois, eastern Iowa, parts of Iowa, again, you had that severe weather outbreak about a week ago. You're going to see that again coming up on the 22nd of March. So we're going to see this warm air as we get our theta E advection lifting north from the Gulf, getting pulled up out of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is going to be wide open this time of the year. So if you're in the upper Midwest or in the plain states, you're going to be susceptible to that severe weather. As you can see, all of the ingredients coming together here for severe weather. We got our strong area of low pressure, a 996 millibar area of low pressure, our deformation zone. We have a warm front, we have a cold front, and it's going to meet here, which is our triple point. This is our triple point right here, and it's going to have that it's going to be occluded here, which is going to lead back to our low pressure center, and it's going to have that dry slot come in. You're going to that warm air advection, and you see that cold air advection come around the backside of this area of low pressure as this guy makes its way into the northeast. Though here is our system now as it moves into Canada. We see our frontal boundary is going to be extended right here. Here is our cold front. that warm front is going to be here. You see all the snow that's going to be out ahead of that warm frontal. No, actually, our warm frontal boundary should be about here. Here is our occluded. You see, most of the severe weather is going to be confined to more of the southern states where you're going to have that moisture, the higher dew points are going to be more confined to this area here. It doesn't quite make its way into the northern sections here into Pennsylvania and upstate New York, but you will see quite a bit of rain up here, but definitely some heavy snow up into Canada and into the western sections of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. You could pick up some of that heavy snow, but especially you folks in southern Canada, Montreal and Quebec, as well as Toronto, you could pick up in some of that heavy snow. But it's going to change over to rain at that warm front that's going to be right in this area here. You may see a few snow showers on the wraparound here as you move into Wisconsin and upstate, the upper peninsula of Michigan. You're going to see that wraparound snow in that deformation zone. So that's that guy moving off. If you notice, when you have these big storms, it's going to be quiet elsewhere. Nothing else going on across the country. But we will have that severe weather across the south. Louisiana, East Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, you're going to have that severe weather. And this guy is going to move on off to the east. It's going to have its cold front hanging around with showers and thunderstorms. So we'll have rain and thunderstorms, but we'll kind of lose the severe component. Maybe you'll see some scattered and isolated severe right in here in the mid-Atlantic possibly. At least according to the GFS. Now we are out to the 24th, so things can get kind of wishy-washy. Take it with a grain of salt at this point because it's more than a week out now. So as you can see, but it's not beyond the rhyme of reason that this can't happen. But you know, March weather is very volatile. Things can change on a dime. And now we're starting to see signs of the next weather system, Pacific storm, coming in here into British Columbia and the far northwestern corner of Washington. I think this wet weather misses Portland, but Seattle, you're probably going to get some showery weather out of that. At least according to what the GFS thinks that it's going to paint for that day. So as we move into the 25th, this is for next Friday. This is not this Friday, but the following Friday. As we can see, a nice area of low pressure in southern Canada. It's going to spread heavy snow to parts of southern Canada right here, Alberta. The Alberta area the province of Alberta, some of you folks can pick up some heavy snow out there. It's not going to spread much in the way of precipitation for our upper Midwest, but you can see these isobars coming up from the south here. You see this here. That's going to be warmer weather. So it's definitely going to bring much warmer weather into the upper Midwest for your Friday next week, which I'll be very excited about because I live in Minnesota. So it's going to be nice to see that, but it's also going to pull some tropical moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico that might spread some shower and thunderstorm activity across parts of Texas as well as Louisiana. So that is what the next Friday looks like. Here's next Saturday for the 26th. We can see a little bit of activity gets organized here across the south. We can see some severe weather possibly across Texas as well as Louisiana into Arkansas and back over into Oklahoma City. So we're going to get an area of low pressure and a little bit of a frontal boundary here that's going to develop and spread some thunderstorms and possibly some severe weather. As you look at these yellows here, that indicates heavier precipitation. That is convective precipitation. So it leads me to believe that it could be thunderstorm or severe thunderstorm activity, as that's highly possible this time of the year in that part of the country. That gets a little bit more organized, moves a little bit more off to the east, northeast a little bit, area of low pressure here, and then we have our frontal boundary there. So it's going to spread maybe a warm front here, could spread a little bit of precipitation. But we got our triple point area right here again. So that potential for severe weather might exist in this area here. So that is look of what, again, another strong weather system comes into the Pacific Northwest. Gonna spread potentially some heavy rain for Seattle and Portland and Northern California. And this is going to be for the 27th for next Sunday. So as we see that come on shore, let's see what happens with that guy. There it is. Kind of comes a little bit more on shore. Gonna spread its rainfall into the Pacific Northwest a little bit more. We can see some snow across central portions of the Cascades and heavy rain for Seattle and Portland. Might mix a little bit with some snow as we get a little bit of cold air moving into the Pacific Northwest. As a trough develops out west, we get a nice ridging in the east, and or more in the central part of the nation we get ridging. But we will have some showers and thunderstorms along the southeast that is going to spread and lift kind of northeast a little bit and head on out this direction. It's going to spread some rain, maybe some thunderstorms. Don't look like anything going to be severe here, but we could have a little bit of severe along the immediate Gulf Coast of Louisiana and East Texas. So that is a look at what we have for here is the 29th, which is going to be next 2 Tuesdays from now. We got the 29th coming up on the end of March and into April 1st. We see this system out here in the Pacific kind of make a little bit of a mess of the high plains of Montana and Idaho, and then the mountains out west. We're going to see a little bit of rain, snow mixed together. This is going to be a sloppy mess out there as it's starting to get a little bit warmer. There's a little bit of cold system, so the snow tries to hang on out there. A little bit of tropical moisture here across the south might bring some showers and thunderstorms. Potential for severe weather again for Florida, and this is for the 29th. Going to be quiet, but much warmer across the east. Warmer temperatures across the east and the upper Midwest. We're starting to see signs of temperatures reaching the 60s. Are we going to see any 70s across the upper Midwest here in the next couple of weeks? Only time will tell. So let's jump into the next day, which is going to be Wednesday. Here is the 30th of March. We're bringing it to a close, the month of March. And we got this big system here that's going to be in parts of Canada. A 985 millibar low is possibly going to spread some rain into North Dakota, South Dakota, and well as Minnesota, as we're going to get a cold front that's going to come through right about here and spread some of that wet weather and more warm air advection. So we're going to see temperatures really kind of warm up for these regions, okay? All right, now let's take a look at what our temperature is going to look like. And we're going to see, you can see where those storms are going to certainly be. But you see that warming temperatures for the upper Midwest. As you can see, those 50s make it all the way into Minneapolis. In the east, it's going to be pretty warm as we can see those 50s and 60s get all the way down across the whole west. This whole section of the east, pretty much the entire East Coast, going to be above average as we hit those mid 50s, 60s, all the way into the high plains. But we will start to see a little bit of cool down across the mountains here, as we can see those 40s and 50s. Well, pretty much the entire nation, with the exception of some areas in here that you're going to see it be a little bit cooler. But a lot of folks are going to see those 50s all the way as far north as Boise, Idaho. You can see that 53. We get that 55 here in central Nevada. Salt Lake City, you're going to see 58 for your high temperature this is for your 15th. So this is for tomorrow. You can see mid 50s. And you're going to see 60s, 70s, even 80s. So San Antonio tomorrow going to hit a high of 80 degrees. We're going to see those 80s all across Florida, as well as down into the southwest. It's starting to warm up in the southwest. We're starting to see that desert heat take place out here. We're going to see those 80s and 90s start to appear in the southwest. So here's what your Wednesday is going to look like. We'll see those warmer temperatures across the east. We're seeing those, excuse me, Starting to see 60s as far north as Minnesota. We'll see those 50s and 60s in the high plains of South Dakota, but we're starting to see those 70s and 80s across the southeast. It's going to warm up nicely for your Wednesday. For your Thursday, we're going to pull back a little bit here across the upper Midwest. We'll fall back into the upper 40s, but we'll still see those 50s and 60s and 70s. We'll see 70s as far north as Indianapolis, and it's going to cool off a little bit across the west as we see those temperatures fall back into the 20s and 30s as we get a storm system moving across the mountains areas. We're starting to see that storm system take shape. That's going to move out. It's going to move out into the plains and spread its bad weather for you folks out here. And here we go for your 18th. This is for Friday. As we can see, cooler weather continues for the upper Midwest, but we're considering where we usually can be, this will take, because this is still well above average for this time of the year. Because our average is about 39, 40 degrees, and we're seeing for mid 40s. That's still a good deal, a good bet, and we'll take it. But we see that our 60s did fall back a little bit as it fell back a little bit back further south, but we're going to see those mid 50s. As we move into your Saturday, we're going to see those 40s hang on here, but we see that 40s across the far northern sections of the nation, but those 50s and 60s are going to hang out here pretty much. We'll see those 50s and 60s as well as here is concerned, and that heat definitely builds in across the southwest. This is for your Sunday. This is what we're looking at. We see the 50s and 60s return as those 40s retreat back. 50s and 60s return to the southwest, to the upper Midwest. We tries to get near 60. I don't doubt that we can reach that 60. We got the 68. We have a 66 here for Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and 70 in parts of, this is Rapid City in South Dakota. We see that 70, we get those mid 70s into Lincoln, Nebraska, as well as Omaha. We see a 71. So it gets quite nice for this time of the year. We do see that warmth ahead of that next. We have a storm system that's moving out of the mountains that's going to warm things up across the Midwest. What are we missing here? Am I missing? Do I got an empty slide? Okay, now we got an empty slide there. So we're gonna jump into what our height anomaly is gonna look like as we have you can see that upper air pattern, that nice zonal flow, which is going to allow for the upper Midwest to warm up here. This is for the 17th. Now we're moving into the 18th. Now you see a storm system moving out that's going to move into the upper Midwest here. This is that big storm that's going to move across, that's going to spread. But now we get another big trough that's going to form, that's coming out of the west. And this huge trough here, here's our jet stream, and it's going to bring that storm system. A storm system is going to form right in here and move out into the plains. You know how that drill goes. And we got that weather system's coming out of the, you see this ridge of high pressure? You see how this nice zone get these transient ridges. There's no real blocking that's going to take place that's going to lock us into a single weather pattern. The pattern is going to flip-flop. We're going to go into that zonal pattern. So this is what we're looking at with the upper air pattern, a very progressive pattern. We will see those ridges. We'll see those troughs from the west with a ridge in the east, but that pattern is going to be pretty progressive, going to move right along. So we're going to see a lot of seesawing in the temperatures, especially in the northern sections of the country. You'll see those warm-ups, then cool-downs, warm-ups, cool-downs, but it's going to be a pretty progressive pattern. But those warm-ups are going to be quite nice. But the cool downs won't be that extreme, as you can see with those temperatures. Here's our temperature anomaly. This is our departures for normal. You see those storms, and you can see how the storms progress across the nation. You see those warm-ups, how we warm to as much as 20 to 30 degrees above average for this time of the year. And there's slight cool downs that are very brief cool downs, but really significant warm-ups. So let's move on to the next thing we got here. Here is our, here is what we got. So this is what we're going to see for the next 6 to 10 days. This is what the National Weather Service, our pattern. As you can see how much warmer we're going to be across the east. So the eastern half of the nation, you're going to be above average predominantly, as much as 40 to 50% above average. That chance of being above average is about 50% for the next 6 to 10 days. So it's going to be beautiful weather out east. But you see that cooler than average out west in the mountains. Still slightly above average in the southwest and southern California. But it gets about average for southern Texas as well as the southwest. Will be about average for this time of the year, but a little bit cooler in the mountains. But it's going to be nice out east with warmer than average weather temperatures. But you will be above average slightly in the precipitation department, which will help our drought situation out east as we're getting these storms that are forming out here in the Colorado area that's going to eject out into the center part of the nation, the Central Plains, as well as into the Great Lakes in the Northeast. Going to spread some precipitation. But we're not going to see as much snow coming up, though. As you can see, this is our snow. As you can see, the snow line retreats back as the weather gets warmer. As you can see, as time progresses, as we move through the end of, you see we're moving through the 15th now, but you can see that snow decreasing as we see fewer and fewer opportunities for snow, as we're going to start to get more and more rain across the country as we move through the end of the month. As this moves awfully slow, okay, here we are in the 17th, and you can see it's going to go out through the 21st. We're going to lose a lot of our snow across Minnesota. As you can see, it gets down to an inch or less in many parts of Minnesota, as we can see a lot of that snow melt. Here's our drought monitor. Very dry conditions out west continues as we have several regions in exceptional drought. We see areas going to be in abnormally dry to moderate drought conditions in the upper Midwest. As it has been fairly dry for this winter. We've been below average in our snowfall or precipitation averages for this year, which I think will improve over the next couple of weeks slightly as we do get some rain. We'll get some beneficial rainfall, maybe a little bit more snow. I didn't see a lot of snow for the upper Midwest in the GFS model because there are some areas. I thought most of the snow is kind of going to get shoved into Canada, so we're not going to see that heavy snow for the upper Midwest, but a lot more rainfall as we've got warmer temperatures for this time of the year. So that is pretty much it for the long range forecast for the next 2 weeks. So the model of this is the parade of storms that's going to predominantly move across the center of the nation. They're going to move out of that Colorado, New Mexico area. Those, what I like to call, or some people refer to as Colorado lows. We're going to see several of those come out. There's also some southern stream systems that's going to bring some severe weather to parts of the Gulf Coast and the Southern Plains. It really kind of what I've been noticing over the last few years, the last 10 years especially, is that the focus of severe weather has shifted to the east. We haven't seen it as bad in Texas and Oklahoma. It's where you typically would see it this time of the year, but it's been hitting a lot in Missouri, in Louisiana, and Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. It's been more along the Gulf Coast, as well as even more instances of it in the Midwest, like Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, as well as Iowa. Remember Iowa, we saw that severe weather outbreak a week ago that had that deadly tornado south of Des Moines. But we've been seeing those situations where we've been seeing more severe weather across the northern central plains and more toward the Gulf Coast, a little bit further east. It's been a lot more violent tornadoes we've seen in Kentucky and Tennessee, Mississippi and Alabama. You folks have seen some violent tornadoes, and that seemed to be increasing with the climate change, and our warming climate is expanded tornado alley for this time of the year. So that is all what I have for this weather forecast. As we take a look out ahead for the next 2 weeks, join me. I'm going to have my, you can join me here every day. I'll post my little daily national weather forecast here on YouTube as well as TikTok. You can also check it out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So every day it's a national weather forecast, and I will have the local forecast for the Twin Cities every other day or so. I'll have one for every weekend, and we'll have one for Monday to take a look at your 5-day forecast if you live here in the upper Midwest, especially the Twin Cities. But we do cover the weather nationwide. So this is Elite Weather. My name is Dooley Godot. I'm the proprietor of this channel, and I'm planning on working magic to make this a great channel where you can get a lot of weather information, a lot of special programming. I also will be releasing my severe weather analysis, my severe weather preparedness program I will be producing later this week. So look for that to come out in a couple days as we talk about tornadoes and severe weather, how these things develop, how they form, and how to be prepared for them. We'll talk about the different types of severe weather. That's going to be a really exciting video. I can't wait to put that out. So anyway, thanks for listening to me babble on here. But I'm going to release y'all now, and hope y'all have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section of what you think of the next 2 weeks. What do you expect us? What do you think we'll see the most severe weather? Do you think it's done snowing for the most part this year? Leave your comments in the comment section. And like and subscribe to the channel. And also check me out on all the other social media platforms. Thank you and have a good day.